Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Macro Mondays. Today we're going to be looking for some swing shorts. A lot of people asking me why we are shorting. Is the run over? Are we going into a bear market? I'm not sure. I don't know if it's over. I'm not sure if we're going into a bear market, but I do see downwards price action, guys. And this was Bitcoin at the start of the year, guys. So this is what happened over here. We obviously had that sell-off, which took place over a long period of time. That was a 3-month straight down, 80 days over there. What you can see, what ended that, and why we flipped long. This is looking at total crypto market, by the way. Was this breakout over here? This is what told us to flip long and go long. And guys, we made an absolute killing from this move to the upside, flipping long on crypto. Why did we flip long? Well, we broke out of the descending resistance over here, closed multiple dailies above there, retested it over here. You see we retested it. So we broke out, retested the top of the descending resistance over there before reclaiming the important EMAs and then moving onwards and upwards, and the rest is history, guys. Also another great move over there. This is what we look for. These are the trading signals that I look out for. And of course, if we over here, the 50% level over here at this $3 trillion, this is what we did wait for. We did break above and aggressively moved above, but we knew that this retest of the 50% level from the all-time high to the low over here, that halfway point, this retest was the ultimate buy zone, which actually gave us another perfect buy opportunity moving into all-time highs for the crypto market. This is why we took the longs. So what did we look for? We looked for price action above the important EMAs over here. We looked for the breakout of the descending resistance over there. And we looked for a retest of the 50% level. Okay, guys, so those are the 3 things that we had to look for before we start choosing a direction, long or short. Now, let's fast forward into the present. Let's fast forward right now. What do we have right now? Well, what we have right now is, of course, we went long here and we made a lot of money into the all-time highs over here. Why? We just spoke about all of those 3 steps over there. Now, guys, what we have to recognize here is that there is a ascending support over here, which we have broken to the downside and retesting it over here. This is the opposite of what happened over here, guys. We made a killing over here. This is a trend shift to the upside. So potentially what I'm looking at here is a potential trend shift to the downside. Why? Well, we've broken the ascending support to the downside and we've retested it. We're now retesting this 50-day EMA. Can I be horribly wrong and we pump straight through here, reclaim this back, get above the 50-day EMA and continue upwards? 100% on the cards. This is a likely scenario, but in my opinion, it is more likely that we test this as support, struggle to get above this zone over here. Maybe we come into this area over here. And this is where I think getting into shorts has a very good risk to reward at the moment. And of course, what are we going to be targeting? Well, we're going to be targeting the 50% level. Okay, that's of course this move all the way from here to here. What you can see what happened over here, we spoke about that 50% level from top to bottom. You see we nailed it basically to perfection over there. So we can expect a move to the 50% level, and that's coming in at that $3.25 trillion for the total crypto market cap. So this is what we are looking out for, guys. Yeah, this is why I'm potentially, looking on the more cautious side at the moment. I'm not extremely bullish. This is a bit of a lower high over here. Obviously strong support in this region over here. And, Q4 is generally a bullish quarter for crypto, but we do have to, play devil's advocate here. We do have to look for scenarios that could potentially, show risk to the crypto market. We're going to go over some potential short opportunities, looking at total 3 as well. Total 3 is looking a little bit stronger. That's of course the altcoins over there. But ultimately what happened for total 3 is we saw a breakout of these all-time highs, and then we just came straight back down, closed underneath the resistance over here. So I wouldn't be extremely, happy with that close, but you can see a little bit of struggle over here, potential double top M over there. But it is holding above the 50-day EMA and is above the 1.05 trillion. So this is a potential strong setup for total 3. It is holding the levels, but total, which is of course where the total is definitely respected much more than total 3. So this one holds a bit more strength, and this is just a word of caution, guys, a word of caution. What I also wanted to have a look at was USDT dominance. So we looked at the total crypto market cap, potential short setup over here. I'm going to take this short idea and we're going to go over to a few coins too short and some key levels over there. Of course, this short would be this entire area with your average entry in the zone over here. Let's have a look at USDT dominance, because I did call this inverse head and shoulders over here. See, we got a shoulder over here, shoulder, head, and another shoulder. And we did break this resistance zone over here. If you forget about the head and shoulders, this is a obvious resistance over here coming straight into the 200-day EMA. We were speaking about this over here potentially being a rejection off there, but it is forming some kind of ascending triangle as well, something like that. So potentially ranging over here. So what I thought over here was, we're either going to break out or we can reject here before eventually breaking out. But remember, what happens is the resistance zone always gets retested. So what you can see is we have broken out over here, came straight into this key resistance over here. We can see this key resistance over there. Old tops fought at this level over here, potentially holding in support before we lost it over there. And this is a potential retest over here. So you can be a little bit more, aggressive with this box and say, well, that's the box over there. We're going to make this box green, because green is for buying. So, and buying USDT means shorting crypto. So this also plays perfectly into the idea of the crypto short. And so we do have this retest of the resistance over there as support with the 200-day EMA, the inverse head and shoulders pattern over there. Now, a lot of people ask, what is the measured move? Well, pretty simple. You would take the size of the head and you would take that from the buy zone over there. So basically head and shoulders. The level for the head and shoulders is this zone over here. There's nothing perfect about it. It can be in this zone. This is a measured move for the head and shoulders, and that comes in between that basically that 5.2% to that 5%. So let's call it 5.1%. Now, what's very interesting is that 5.1% actually is the 50% level, the macro 50% level from that low that we saw in the crypto market in April. So here's the crypto low, or the USDT dominance high. We had a big rally in the crypto market. And of course, a rally in the crypto market would be a breakdown in the USDT dominance. And that 50% level is very likely to be tested at some point. So this, in my opinion, is a high probability trade. I do think we will see this 5.1%, and I do think this is the target. This is where we'll be taking profit on our crypto shorts. I do see this happening, guys. And then let's see from there. If we test this and then reject, then I do see the altcoins and alt season and this and that But if we lose this level and start to consolidate above 5.1%, this is going to be ugly, guys. This is going to be looking really ugly. So we have to play devil's advocate, guys. We have to look at all the scenarios. There are a lot of bulls at the moment. I see a lot of silly things on X with, you know, people buying NFTs and this and that on hype. And this just, you know, it's the recipe for disaster. So guys, definitely looking out for this. And what we can see as well, this gave us the word of warning over here. This is when I actually got out of the majority of my crypto, was when I did see this USDT dominance break out in the zone over here. This was, of course, the end of August, start of September. And what you can see is that we did break out and we had the perfect retest of this descending support resistance flipping into support. You can see that flipping over here. That is technically the right shoulder. And yeah, this was a word of warning. So let's see how this week plays out. If we start to consolidate in this range over here, I would say that there is a very, very, very high chance that we do see that 5.1%. If we do consolidate above the zone over here, if we consolidate above that 4.5, you know, 4.55 level, consolidate above here, above the 200-day EMA, it is going to be looking quite scary. But, you know, if we do show strength and get below here and get a lower high over here before potentially breaking out, this will be bullish for crypto. So let's see, guys. We are kind of at the line. We are, you know, drawing the line in the sand. We are on the line. Let's see if we cross the line. You know, which way are we? Which foot is going to be on the side of the line? And basically, that should tell us what is going on. But for now, I am favoring USDT dominance moving to the upside, bearish for the crypto markets. Guys, we did flip bearish. I closed all my longs towards the end of August. It's been a very quiet September. Very tough to short. Did obviously get into a few shorts in Bitcoin over here. I'm still in this trade at the moment, so we can move this about over there. Stops above this last high. And I'm only going to get bullish on Bitcoin when we do break this descending resistance over here. So this is the resistance to break out. As always, guys, as always, there's always that descending resistance. This is the descending resistance. So what we can see is potentially another rejection. And once we get above it over here, after potentially coming into this box over here, we can maybe be taking longs from this zone wherever we break out. Maybe we break out over this week and we can take longs. But for now, I'm bearish on Bitcoin below this descending resistance. That's just how I trade. That is how it works. That's how it's worked for me for a very long period of time. So let's have a look at Bitcoin quickly. So of course, Bitcoin, here we go, that halfway points from the all-time highs to that correction low that we did see on the end of August. That halfway point comes in at 115.8 K. So technically, Bitcoin is weak below there. So it's a good confluence. I think this is a really, really, really great zone for the line in the sand to be. Of course, the 50% level, the descending resistance, all lining up up here. I'm bearish on Bitcoin until we flip this into support, basically. Okay, so short still in play over here. If we come up to the 50-day EMA, if you aren't in a Bitcoin short, you know, there's a really good short over here. 50-day EMA, stop below there, targeting the zones over here. Of course, TP1 would be the 200-day EMA. You have to expect the bounce. Take the liquidity out of there, get a little bounce. This is a good trade setup, guys. Good trade setup on Bitcoin short. And that's off that 113.3K. So definitely watch out for that. Solana, wouldn't be too psyched to short this. It is above the, I am in a personal short from about this 230 zone, very high risk trade. I did post it, said it's a high risk trade. You know, the risk did pay off, but there's above this 50-day EMA. So I personally wouldn't be shorting Solana. I think Solana can buy a lot of people in the bum extremely fast. I think this move actually wrecked a lot of people, 25% in a matter of days. What is an easier short? I think Ethereum is an easier short. Yeah, I do think there is a short opportunity from current prices all the way up to that 4-4 zone over here. Let's just make that red. My bad. Let's make that red. Yeah, I think this is a great shorting zone for Ethereum. Can easily short that zone over there. You know, wouldn't really want to see ETH above this 4,500 level. You know, of course, that's where we consolidated on the weekend before that massive drop. So that weekend consolidation, you don't really want to break this. So you can be shorting from any of the zones over here. Target 200-day EMA straight 3,400. Risk reward 3.67 to 1. I think this is a great trade, guys. I think, you know, I think there's a good chance that ETH does come into this 50-day EMA coming in at 4,200, just $70 from current price. And this is a massive resistance, guys. Look at this. Massive, massive resistance. Huge support over here for weeks. This is a multi-day, very boring over there, 11-day consolidation, just flat on the range, just opening and closing candles in the zone over here. Going to be a strong resistance to get through. So this is the kind of setup that I'd be looking for between this zone over here. Bang, you know, get some entries in there. Again, stop loss above that weekend low, a weekend high, and then coming into the zone over here. This whole zone could happen very fast, guys. We know that ETH dumps fast. Look at this, guys. This can happen in a day. This is what you want to. This is what we want to be looking out for, guys. This can happen literally in a few days. Absolutely wild. 40%. So you know, we get something like that. Of course, quite unlikely, but we could come all the way into this zone over here. Am I bullish on ETH? I am bullish, but I do think we can see a correction, guys. This is long overdue. From top to bottom, that halfway point comes in at 3,200. So I think we could easily see 3,200. This gives us a nice risk reward of 4 to 1. I will be taking this trade, guys. If you don't want to wait, you just want to get into the trade right now, you can actually get into the trade right now, but your risk reward is only 2.5 to 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to be a little bit more patient. We're going to wait for, you know, at least speed to 1. You know, at least $4,180 for short. So I'm going to keep my short there, 4,220, that zone over there. I think this is a textbook short, guys. Big short for the boys. And I do see this playing out, guys. Big breakdown, shift in market structure. Where's the next lower high? Probably the 50-day EMA. But let's see, guys. This is a definitely, I'm going to be taking this short. I'll be laddering into it as well. You know, we could come all the way up to 4,400. Come and tag this wick over here. So if you are more conservative, you know, you can have your short area over there, and then of course stop and go a little bit higher in case you do get those wicks. And this gives us a risk reward of that 3 to 1. But this might not happen, guys. This might not happen. You know, of course, if we only just come into the box, you're barely going to have a position. You're going to have a tiny position. So watch out for this, guys. Ethereum short position. So look at XRP. Yeah, I think we can get away with shorting XRP as well. It's below the halfway, or kind of finding support at the halfway point over there, rejecting off this 50-day EMA. This zone should be resistance. This is your resistance, this zone over here. But, you know, 200-day EMA is right here as well. So, you know, maybe we're going to consolidate a little bit longer. Yeah, not too happy to short XRP. I think ETH's the easier short at the moment. Otherwise, yeah, not too much. Like stuff's looking pretty scary. Look at Toncoin, guys. You know, this is not looking good, guys. Huge dump the other day. And it was this Monday, last week Monday, big dump. Just no recovery, no relief rally. Not looking good for Toncoin, guys. And there's lots of tokens that just aren't looking great. Sui stuck below the importance. EMAs, you know, not much you can do about this. You know, below this 50% level, very choppy though, guys, very choppy. Of course, ascending resistance over here. So still at support. You know, wouldn't look for shorts on this yet, but we could come down to that $2 zone. Chainlink as well. Chainlink is actually, you know, if you are looking for a long in the markets, Chainlink could be the one. Of course, we've got the halfway point from this high over here to the low over there. That's coming in at this $20.35. So longs of this zone over here, you know, could be on the cards. But if we do, you know, start to show weakness across the board, then, you know, it will be looking ugly. So look at this ascending support broken to the downside over here. So in a bit of no man's land, you know, if this 50% level wasn't there and rather there, this is a delicious short opportunity. But because it's not, we're not going to take this trade, guys. If it starts to fall underneath, you know, if we take this low out and test it as resistance over there, then we could get into a potential short. But also risk reward, not too great. I'm bullish on Chainlink long term. I did actually manage to get out of my Chainlink at around this $26 zone. Hype also coming straight into resistance over here. 50-day EMA there as well. So this is a great short opportunity as well. Bang, short, straight into the box. Stop loss, don't really want to see it get above this wick over here. 3-1, decent trade over there. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for joining the stream. We've got some shorts on the table. We've got hype, we've got ETH. Let's see how the market goes, but just keep your eyes on total crypto, guys. Total crypto, USDT dominance. These are the charts that I'm looking for at the moment. But guys, thanks for joining the stream. We'll see you guys later this week.